UGG since 1974 versus UGG USA. What's the tea? This video is going to be very niche for my UGG girlies. I'm talking you had many different versions, pairs, slippers, boots back in like 2006. I'm talking Northeast girl winters living and breathing in your Uggs until your feet were ripe. And this is piping hot tea, including an ongoing lawsuit. So back when I got pregnant, I realized I was going to need slippers that were extra supportive and extra comfortable. The only slippers that came to mind were the OG chestnut coquette slippers from UGG. I remember back in the day, my mom had a pair of like the light beige ones, and I would often slip them on to go grab the mail or grab the groceries. They were so comfortable. Like the sheep fur inside was extra plush. I remember the sole feeling very sturdy and just like a real solid shoe. I don't know really how to describe it. I guess it was made of rubber. I also had my own pairs. I had the mini booties. I think the beige ones, like the light beige ones, and then I had the classic UGG boot in black. I think my mom still has them. I just remember them being super comfortable. All the girlies had them, and for a good reason. Like not only were they fashionable at the time, but they also were just so warm, so comfortable. They got us through a lot of winters on the Northeast, and yeah, you just could always rely on them. And also the thing about the sheep fur back then, it did that thing where it kind of curls up on itself and it gets extra plush and comfy, almost like a cloud. The great thing too about sheep fur, sheep wool is perfect for all temperatures almost. I mean, obviously you might not want to wear boots in the middle of the summer, but the wool helps wick away moisture and regulate temperature, but also it will keep you warm. So another great plus. So cut to pregnant SQ, ready to bite the bullet. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a pair of these coquette slippers. I already had purchased the Scuffette 2, I think they're called. Those are also a classic that we've seen a lot, but the sole is a lot thinner and I had worn through those really quick. And I was like, okay, I need something with a thicker sole, the coquette. So I was gonna bite the bullet. Mind you, these slippers aren't cheap. They're all over $100 pretty much. The coquette I think was like $125 or something like that. I can't quite recall, but it was over $100. And at the time I think I didn't get them originally because they were sold out. They're so popular. So I had to wait until they got back in stock. Luckily, by the time I was pregnant, they were in stock and I was able to get them. Pre-price, I was recalling the quality and just how soft and comfortable they were and how long they last. And I was like, you know what? It's worth it. I should get a pair of these. Long story short, when I received them and first took a look at them, I was like, these are not the coquettes that my mama had. I received the slippers and said, who is she? They can say it's sheep fur, sheep wool, all they want, but it was not giving. The fur looked artificial. Honestly, it almost looks like it was hot combed. And wait a minute, I have them right here. Let me show you. Now, it's been a little bit, so these are a little raggedy and dirty, but I wish I had my original pair with me so I could compare, but can you see how the fur is like, it almost looks hot combed, like it was straightened out. Like when I first got them, it was even more than this. Like really, like did not look like fur to me. The sheepskin does not really look like sheepskin to me. Like it doesn't super feel like it. It almost just feels like suede. The soles, guys, the soles. They tried to make this a selling point on the site that it was made of like eco, recycled, whatever. And I am so for the environment. I am a very crunchy girl by nature, by heart, by training. I went to school in Vermont, which is the crunchiest state. And let me tell you, I did not want recycled soles for these. I wanted the real deal rubber because I knew it would last. And these, what is that? What is that? It sounds like, it just sounds like foam. Like it's fake, it's squishy. This is not what I wanted. I kept them because I was like, I don't know, I was pregnant. I was like, I just need some slippers. The more I wore them, the more I was like, these are not the same shoes. These are not the same shoes. Something changed. I just want to compare really quick. So these are the Scuffette, the first ones I got. The wool looks a little bit nicer on this one. It looks bleached to heck. Like sheep wool is not naturally just like pure white like this. It feels softer, it feels plusher, like especially especially on the top. It's just a lot softer. The soles are terrible. They're just slightly different, but still not exactly what I remember. And if you go on the site, these two are slightly different blends of whatever this artificial nonsense is. I don't know. It's not adding up. The math is not mathing. The inconsistencies are so bizarre to me. The scuffet sole just is terrible. The fur is like a little bit nicer, but still not quite there. And then the coquette is just terrible fur. It's a thicker sole, but it's still over time just not comfortable. So I'm thinking this back in, when did I get pregnant? Back in 2023. Okay, I'm thinking this, honestly 2022 when I got the scuffet, because I was like, why are these so crappy? But I was thinking this already. It's already in the back of my mind, okay? Cut to this year. I was reminded I had these thoughts when I saw a TikTok of someone comparing their old UGG boots to the ones they recently purchased because they still had the old pair because the quality, they lasted so long. They said they were wearing them through the same conditions, winter, snow, yet the newer ones were already falling apart after just a couple months when the old ones were still kicking. So your girl did some digging. And let me tell you, I was aghast, okay, at what I learned. The US version of Uggs, trademarked Uggs, is in no way affiliated with Uggs in Australia, the original brand. I'm gonna say that again. Uggs US is in no way affiliated with Uggs in Australia. And I'm not saying Uggs Australia because Uggs in the US originally had the name Uggs Australia. The original brand in Australia is called Uggs Since 1974. And it's called Uggs Since 1974 is because that's when the company originated. Uggs Since 1974 is an authentic Australian made shoe. So they are handcrafted pair by pair, custom to order. And they have very similar designs and logos because Uggs US pretty much stole it from them. I mean, they spill all the tea on the Uggs Since 1974 site, so you can go there and read it for yourself. If you're sat, here's the gist of what I discovered. A resounding difference of note to customers who've purchased from both is the quality. But what was even more shocking to me is that UGG, the term UGG, is a type of shoe in Australia. Similar to like, I'm buying a clog, I'm buying a pump, I'm buying a tabby. A lot of different brands in Australia sell UGG shoes because they're a category of shoe that's specifically made from the sheepskin, the sheep fur, meant to keep you warm, you know. It's a type of shoe. But they all have different names, and UGG Since 1974 is the brand that, the household brand that we know and love, the most popular brand. So the term UGG was trademarked by Deckers Outdoor Corporation back in the 90s when whoever the CEO, I didn't even bother learning their name because I was annoyed, but they went to Australia, learned about this type of shoe, and were like, oh, I'm gonna steal this and make some money off of it. So they trademarked it globally, the term UGG, okay? They tried to do it within Australia as well and just steal the name. What culture vultures, am I right? The Australian legal system did not allow for that, right? Like it was cultural. It's like you cannot just steal our culture and like trademark the name as if it's yours. The legal system did not allow them to trademark within Australia and New Zealand. Uggs are still Uggs in Australia and New Zealand, but outside of the US, they have to go by Uggs Since 1974. So again, this type of shoe, this UGG shoe, is protected within Australia and multiple companies can make their own version of an UGG shoe. So here's another shocker. The US version is mass-produced across Asian countries, while UGG Since 1974 is being handcrafted pair by pair to this day in one single shop. There's only one shop in Australia that does it and one storefront that sells them. You can purchase them online through their website, UGG Since 1974, but there's only one physical location. It's made with the finest quality Australian sheepskin, and UGG Since 1974 is sustainable and ethically made, and they really take pride in what they do. They truly stand the test of time. The UGG girlies, including myself, are seeing that the quality has cheapened over time as Uggs US, of course, have become more and more mass produced. I mean, there is a noticeable difference, you guys. I personally think they started with the real deal at first and then over time started to cut corners to make it more affordable to make and put out more product. Because this is most definitely not sheep fur. You cannot convince me. They really bamboozled us for a long time, y'all. And I feel it feels violating, honestly. It makes me feel dumb as a consumer because I'm like, why didn't I not look into this sooner, you know? But I honestly thank TikTok because people have started to untangle the web the past few years. Honestly, this might have gone back longer, but I'm seeing more of it, more of the people uncovering and talking about this now. But Uggs since 1974, they're not holding back. They are sharing their story, and on their site, it says, "We strictly use 100% natural sheepskin, with all of our Ugg boots being handcrafted from premium A-grade Australian or New Zealand sheepskin. In some of its product lines, Ugg, trademarked, which is the US version, uses a synthetic fabric in place of natural sheepskin. This fabric is made from a combination of wool and lyocell and may imitate natural sheepskin, but is actually a synthetic man-made material." That's what got me. Like, I'm paying the same price and more for lesser quality? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So now that you know all the tea, I can tell you. The most recent update is that Uggs USA is suing Since 1974 for using the term Ugg, even though Deckers stole it from them. Now let's remember, 1974 is a small business. They are like a family-owned business. They cannot fight. It's just not feasible for them to fight a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So unfortunately, they now have to rebrand outside of Australia. So again, the trademark is still protected. Within Australia, they can still be Uggs since 1974. But when they're shipping out to outside countries, the logo is going to say since 1974 or 74s on the back, which is kind of cool. But the reasoning for it changing is upsetting. They were bullied out of their original concept and name. Of course, the quality and the boots and the styles and slippers, whatever, those will all be the same, but that little logo is just going to be different outside of Australian borders. Now that I know everything, knowledge is power, and I'm feeling pretty icky about trademarked Uggs, like Uggs US. So I think for me, the resolution is clear to just purchase Uggs since 1974. According to people who have purchased, I still have not made a purchase, but as you can see, I am very interested. I've been looking at the site almost every day. From what I can see, they feel nicer, they last longer, they're real authentic sheepskin, they're custom made. You can literally customize the colors, the seams, the different paneling. If you're getting the boots, you are in control. You can even get monogrammed boots or slippers if you want. And of course, you're supporting a small family-owned business and fighting the man. They're often coming up with new styles, collections, switching them up, and seem to have a variety of options. Waiting for the plane to pass. Overall, they seem to me more like designer boots and slippers compared to the cheap stuff that is being served to us here. But let me dial it back. I am not trying to rain on anyone's parade. If it's easier for you to get Uggs US, if you run through them and don't mind and you have it like that and you wanna get a new pair every year or whatever, do you. That is perfectly fine. However, I'm gonna do me. If you want lasting quality like I do, I would recommend purchasing from the originals, the authentic, the real deal, Uggs since 1974. And from what I hear, the pricing is not even that crazy different. Like, I think you'll get a little bit more for shipping based on where you live. That brings me to my next point. The only downside, I guess you could say, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it does take a while to get them if you're not in Australia because they're handmade, so that's gonna take time, plus you're shipping internationally. You can only purchase 1974s through their website. You know, it's gonna come directly from Australia or New Zealand. So that's going to take some time based on where in the world you live. I've seen some people saying it takes like about a month. We all like instant gratification, but if you're waiting for something that is gonna be better quality, I think it's worth the wait and the cost. I hope you liked this video. I hope it sheds some light on this situation if you were interested like I was and curious as to what the heck was going on and why the quality was not the same of the shoes you've been buying for decades. This is a different format for me, but I just wanted to chat mindful fashion and truly investigate this quandary that has been occupying my brain for years at this point. Were you sus about UGG quality over time too? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to read the caption because I'm gonna leave some links to help give you some more outside information. So I'll be linking the UGG Since 1974 site, sharing the page that talks all about their story and the whole history with Trademark Uggs and since 1974. There's a link to an article on their site that talks all about the difference between Trademark Uggs and their Uggs. I'm gonna link their TikTok account because they also go into detail there and they take you through their factory, their warehouse, give you a personal feel of just the love and passion that goes into making their product and the quality and the fact that it's family owned. And I'm kind of obsessed with their TikTok account right now. And lastly, this is sort of random, but there's also the debate of should you wear socks or not wear socks with your UGG boots and your slippers, and they have a whole article on that. So I thought that was interesting. So before you go, be sure to check that out in my caption. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!